Welcome back, family, to another episode of the Back Issue Book Club. I am Greg.
And I am Richard.
And we are Timo Hana. And this is, part 5?
I believe so, yes. Because we had 4 parts in July.
Yeah. Part 5 of KnightTerrors, the DC summer event. And this week we had 5 books. Black Adam number 2. Ravager number 2. I like the cover. Poison Ivy number 2. I hate that cover. Batman number 2. And the Joker number 2.
Yes, there we go.
Why don't we talk about them in that order, I guess, huh?
Sounds like a plan. Fine.
Well, fine.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Black Adam number 2. Did you say you liked this cover?
I didn't comment on that one.
Oh, okay. Ravager number 2 was the first one you commented on.
Yeah.
My mistake.
No, it's okay.
So, Black Adam number 2.
I thought it was better than the first issue.
There was more dialogue than Shazam, bam, Shazam, bam.
Although there was a lot of that.
Yes.
I also didn't feel like anything was resolved at the end of this, really.
I really don't know if anything was resolved in any of these, really. But
fair. This one felt especially ambiguous to me.
This one actually had a lot of confusion in me because I don't know the character. I don't know. I mean, if it weren't for watching the Moon Knight series, I really wouldn't have no idea of who any of these characters were.
Yeah.
I mean, like balancing, weighing
your heart versus
weighing your heart to see that you're wanting, and I'm not saying that Marvel is the cure-all. I'm just saying that if they should have at least put something in there, a little text box or something like that people like me can read and people that know the character can skip. So
I just don't know why he was he just freaked out by the Temple of Doom type of thing that the god was doing? Is that why he was like, no, don't do that?
Well, I think that he knows it. He's not ready to be judged.
Oh. Yeah,
I think
true.
deep down inside, he knows he's the sort of person that has no fear and will fight for his country, but not really one that will make it into the proper afterlife.
Especially after that conversation with the wizard that gives powers, the Shazam powers. He was calling him something like, the iron-fisted despot, using your rage all the time and just referencing all that. So yeah. That's a good point.
But overall, I still don't like the Black Adam character, and while the book was a little bit better than the first, it really had nowhere to go but up, and I really felt more confused at the end of it than anything else, so I was glad when it was over.
Yeah, I don't know who the final boss guy is, and I'm assuming the cat is Insomnia. That's walking with him the whole time? I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Next.
The one thing I can tell you, though, is that people that are looking at reading these stories, it does seem to this point that these stories are not interlocking together as much as we thought they were going to. So if you want to read how Insomnia and whatnot, say your favorite characters are Poison Ivy and Ravager, you can buy just these stories and enjoy them.
And if you don't have a favorite character but you want to follow the event, I think you would agree with me in that the main Night Terror line and the Batman books seem to be the core story.
Yes, I would also. I think
maybe
you might
Zatanna
have to go with the Superman one.
Yes, because of that whole Aquaman ending and. Yeah.
Basically, the Justice League members.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's because it's worth reading, get the Joker. So,
yes. So,
moving on to the next book, as you said, Ravager number 2 with a good cover.
Like the artwork in this again. I think we said that about the first one. This one sort of had a Hollywood ending, I feel like, in a way, with a question mark at the end.
It reminded me of the end of No Way Home. when you saw Venom talking on at the bar and he leaves a little bloop. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Of symbiote,
Yeah.
sort of comes alive a little bit. Yeah, that's true. So this one, she ends up going like Terminator 2 on the demon, freezing him and then throwing her sword and shattering him, right?
Yeah.
And then she talks to her evil self and is like, listen, man, he was going to betray you the second he could, just like mine did, whatever you call him, Madman, Deathman, Slade, whatever.
Yeah.
And panel by panel, she starts to like turn back to like normal looking human from demon or whatever. And then it just kind of like fades to white.
Right. And at that point, supposedly she wakes back up or is woken back up by her teammates.
Yep, Stormwatch. That was Peacekeeper 01, who was physically with her, and then a couple of other members I'm not familiar with. So,
But then the question is is that the reality, or is that like another part of the dream, another part of the nightmare?
which comes up again in at least one other book in this week, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, is the blood coming alive at the end a sign that she's still in the dream, or maybe the dream world has come out through? Maybe a little bit has gotten through her as the vessel or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
She brought Freddy Krueger into our reality.
Yeah, motherfucker, I'm gonna cut you.
So, I mean, the storyline itself was better than Black Adam. I did like both 1 and 2. Nothing really to rave about, but they were both they were good stories.
Yeah, I think they were just like a solid, like, if you read them back to back, it's just like one big like horror action fight sequence, kind of.
And honestly, I really wish they had put it out this way instead. Instead of putting out all these number 1s in July and all these number 2s in August, if they had, say, the first week, these books number 1, then the second week the same books number 2, and then the third week these books number 1, and let's just say I had just read Ravager and Deadpool, jeez, excuse me, Black Adam last week, and then those stories are so fresh in my mind. I think reading these would have been a lot better. Instead, they're so convoluted and mixed in with all the other Night Terror books that I've read that I had like, wait, yeah, that's right, this happened here, or
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting way they chose, but I don't think it happens most of the time that way. So if we do another event, I think it'll be better probably in that regard.
Well, I mean, like Ravager number 2 was $3.99. I'm assuming that Ravager number 1 was $3.99. Would you have preferred a double-sized book that had the entire thing for $7.98?
I like standard stuff, so probably not personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure some people would.
Okay. That's why I asked, would you? I didn't say, hey, you would like this better.
Yeah.
Wah.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of liking things better, let's move on to Poison Ivy.
Oh, clown faces galore.
Yeah. Well, especially when you look at the cover.
Oh, God.
You've got the...
I hate that. Ugh.
Yeah, but what was the...
Give me the willies.
What was the cartoon where she was going through a reality and her parents and everything had buttons for eyes?
It was a cartoon or like a stop motion thing? Coraline?
Coraline, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not real life
Yeah,
or
yeah.
in live action.
Yeah.
The cover of this really reminded me of Coraline.
Ugh. I hate the tongue. Ugh.
I know. But this one definitely had more of a deeper meaning than anything I'd read so far, though.
Yeah, this one got a little philosophical, right?
Yeah. And I liked it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how it begins. I remember the like apex of the story is when Harley finds a dandelion in the lawn.
I kind of thought that was near the beginning.
But I think that's what like set off the book.
Yeah.
Like the action that set off the book. Sorry, is what I mean.
Okay.
And she's like, I gotta kill it. It's got to be a perfect lawn. And Poison Ivy said something to the effect of, it's doing more to say clean the soil of the earth than the grass is. And she's like, no. And she takes the poison to it and starts shooting at it. And
Yeah, Poison Ivy's like, that's not the way Harley would react. She would like lay down next to it and make friends with it and talk to it.
and then she's trying to find Pam. She's like, maybe Pam is real.
only it was a Pam or Janet?
Pam it.
The HR lady.
Yeah, the blonde.
Yeah, only she. That's gotta be. It's that really has to be her. Only she could be that annoying. You know.
Yeah. And then, so the other Batman, Catwoman, and Harley start to kind of see Poison Ivy cracking in that she's not like 100% subservient and in the way, and they start to like threaten her and like, you can't go in here, you can't, whatever. And they like throw toxins on her as well, and she's like, and they call me Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
But then she
weed
gets,
killer or whatnot, plant killer.
yeah, and then she gets like a backbone, and she's like, you know what? F this. You're in my mind. I created you, so I can take you out. Mm-hmm. And they go back and forth a little bit, and she's like, I'm going to unmask you, Batman. And she takes the mask off, and it's herself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man. What does it mean?
But I try to remember how the book ended, though. Did she wake up? Did she come to, or is she still in it?
So this is like what we were saying a moment ago. She wakes up, and Pam or Janet or whatever is on a bench in New York City, and they're like, how do we know when we're actually awake, or something like that? And then it just says, follow along in whatever next book.
HR lady also says at one point, how do you force yourself awake when you're stuck in somebody else's dream?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is also that is showing that they are interacting in this dream world. But
yeah.
She acknowledged that this isn't even my nightmare. This is her nightmare. What the heck am I doing in it?
That's rough. Could you imagine like being asleep and then realizing you're in like your wife's nightmare, for instance, or whatever? God, that would be. What do you even do?
I don't know if that would be that bad because my wife's worst nightmare might be me spending a lot of money at a comic book convention. So if I'm there, that might be good for me.
That's true. One man's nightmare is another man's heaven.
I was going to say blank dream, but yeah.
But yeah, solid writing, solid, little conclusion-ish. That's another one of those like, is it over? We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So,
speaking of, is it over? And this is the first book this month, the only book this month that had a secondary story, which I thought we were done with those, was Batman.
Liked this book a lot.
Hey, you know what? Before we do get into this book, because I know we put this on YouTube as well, let's give a little shout out to our Patreon members.
Hey, patrons, we appreciate you very much. Here's your name. Thank you, patrons.
Thank you. You want to see your name there? Team Ohana on Patreon.
Yep.
$3. Literally less than the cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks per month, and you get more than that back. So,
or a bottle of water.
Seriously, 3/4 of the planet's covered with it, and it costs more than gasoline.
Batman.
Number 2. Now, this one I think is the one I enjoy the artwork in the most.
It was good.
Yeah. Especially when I saw all the homages to all the other, the artwork of the other Batmans, like the Dark Knight.
Yeah, the freaking
the
89
Miller.
Michael Keaton was there.
So, the story was another deep, existential storyline. So, apparently Batman has set a place in his own mind in case he's caught in a nightmare.
He's trained for this, baby.
Yeah, this is why Batman could beat anybody with prep time.
Yes. Yes, even Thanos.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was him trying to wrestle control back of himself from Deadman.
Yeah.
And
But I would have liked to see a little bit of Deadman, like like panels of Deadman fighting back or whatnot.
Yeah, and maybe we will. Maybe we will in the main books. Yeah, I don't know. I would also like to see more of him doing stuff as Batman.
Yes.
Maybe like trying to swing and being like, "Oh shit," or freaked out or something. I don't know, because that's how he died.
Yeah, I like how what do you call it? Batman is saying that, "Oh man, my body is tired and killing me, dude. What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, when he came out, or when he broke through, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
What
was
if you
deep. This was
I was
deep.
saying,
This was deep with the children. He kept Insomnia kept trying to like put him through his back alley death with his parents over and over again, and built up like an orphanage's worth of Bruce Waynes as children, who looked like Lobo, by the way. They had like the face paint and like black and white,
But everything kind of resolved itself. I think that Insomnia actually wound up making Batman face and conquer his greatest fear as a result.
yeah, it was cool. He was
It
like,
really was.
He was.
What's your greatest fear? My greatest fear is that that 90 minutes that I was sitting there in the alley by myself, that I would see what I became and be afraid of that.
Yeah, or ashamed. I think it was one of the two of those things together.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, it kind of shows like Batman like in sort of a heavenly aura, because like the street lights behind him, and it's like a gold glow around him, and he's like, he goes up to his like child self, and he's like, "Listen, I know you're afraid of being alone and not having a family, but you're gonna have more of a family than you could ever imagine." And he like describes how like you're gonna be receding into the darkness for the first formative years, but your friends and family will come find you in the darkness, and they'll be closer than ever. And
You'll have a family.
and the Bruce Wayne was like, the little Bruce was like, "That sounds like a dream," and he was like, "It's better than that. It's a family."
Yeah.
And they like embrace.
And you're going to like bats, even though they're scary. Bats are cool. Yeah, bats are cool.
And he's like, "Bats are cool." Yeah.
Actually, my favorite thing about this entire book, and when I read it, I'm like, I got to comment on this. When he's flying around in his nightmare, basically, having Superman-ish powers.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he does the superhero landing.
Bat boom.
Bat boom. not kaboom or
crack
shaboom, crack boom. It was bat boom. And then he has a little smile like, damn, man.
He smiled to himself. And then Insomnia's like, "Did you actually just smile to yourself with nobody else here?" Like, regardless of the plot of the whole thing, he just had to comment on that.
That was really cool. I did like that. This was, at this point, my favorite book of the week.
Oh yeah, for sure. There is a panel where at the very end where it shows him breaking out of his chained up head, going towards Deadman, and he's like, "Whoa, wait, Boston, what?" And he made it. Boston is, I think, the last name of Deadman. I forget his first name. But I was curious. I was a little confused because it made it seem like he got out, but there it showed like the dark black door slamming shut, and to me it was like, did he actually break out or did he get sucked back in? I don't know, and maybe that's on purpose. Was it confusing at all for you in that way?
Every book has been confusing for me in some way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
Oh yes, I'm sorry,
Well,
but we got a second story in this book, though.
This is the first backup that I didn't feel nothing about. I thought it was pretty okay.
I thought it was kind of late in the storyline to have another introduction of a character.
Yeah.
We had Green Arrow, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
That was Arsenal, actually. One of his sidekicks.
Oh, okay.
But yes. He was like, "I can't hit shit." And then Black Canary went all was
Black Bolt.
Mr. Smith from the Matrix or whatever, or Black Bolt. Yeah.
Black Bolt.
Yeah. That's always freaky. And her thing
And
is screaming as well. Yeah, just like Black Bolt. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because they resolved what their greatest fears were also by the end of that story.
Yeah.
Which was Black Canary is just afraid of nobody hearing her when she talks. Or, has something to say, just not being heard. And Arsenal is not missing his shots, but all the things in life that he's missing by being a superhero.
Exactly. So I thought it was pretty all right for a backup.
I mean, you've got two little rugrats there. How would you feel if you were spending 13 out of 14 days fighting superheroes? You come back like, started school already, huh?
Seriously, man. Like, if I'm away for a day or two, it's just like, whoa, this feels weird.
Yeah. And you got, it's like you come back like, wait, I thought our son had blonde hair. Why does he have brown hair? That's your grandson. You've been gone that long. Okay. Jeez.
Yeah. I can not imagine.
But for the short a story as it was, and even though I didn't even know what character it was, it was poignant. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
that's how I felt about it too.
I still wish that they had given me that secondary story in the back of Black Adam and eliminated some of Black Adam's story. That would have been nicer. Giving me more story of Batman, but
yeah, I agree with you, and and I agree with your point that it's like it's weird. We're doing oh shit, I'm falling asleep and these are my nightmares in the second month now when it should have been in the first month. I agree.
I mean, I think if anything, instead of giving us Green Arrow and Arsenal and Black Canary, they should have given us at this point some kind of storyline as what happened with Aquaman before he found Superman.
Yeah,
that would have been seemed to make more sense to me at this point. But.
Or the other Sandman, like you were mentioning before.
Yeah,
that would have been cool. Oh, what else do we got?
We got one book left, and this is the one I saved for last. And it is also, I love this cover too.
That's a great
Joker.
Is he in a nightcap or is his hair just folded over? I can't tell.
I think that's a green nightcap.
That makes it even better.
Yeah.
He's so domestic.
Yeah, it looks like he's eating like tater tots or something like that.
And like the carcass is like swarming with flies behind him. Is that right? From what I remember.
No, I don't see any flies. It looks like the Batman is coming out of the closet to get him.
Oh, that's right. The new freaky Joker-esque Batman.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna need you to take the lead on this one. I remember very little of this one.
Okay, so he seems to have settled more in his role, working for the company.
Wayne Enterprises, if you don't remember.
And it seems like now you've got other villains that are coming to work at Wayne Enterprises, and he's interviewing them.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Freeze.
Fries.
Excuse me, Mr.
Fries.
Whatever.
So, what would be your greatest weakness? Warmth. Okay. I think that you should get a job in advertising, but okay.
Oh, God. That was funny.
So how come you're not joking around? Well, HR kind of advised me against that. So.
Well, and then he goes like, he jumps over the table and grabs him by the collar, and he's like, "I know what you're doing," or something. What was he angry about? Do you remember?
I think that was later in the book. After Mr. Freeze leaves, then you had Scarecrow come in.
That's right, Scarecrow. Yeah.
But then he goes to a meeting after that, and yeah, he's gets ticked off. I don't remember what he got ticked off about. He stabbed the guy to death.
Oh yeah, it was just an average Joe employee, and he just went.
Yeah. So when somebody's like, excuse me, they're not calling him. It's like Johann something or other. I can't remember his name.
Johann like Kaiser.
Okay.
Johann Kaiser.
Can we have a moment to talk? You seem like you're built up intentionally. Are you okay? Well,
This is right after seeing the guy just get murdered.
yeah, we're used to seeing you joke around more than this. Well, HR has told me not to do that.
Yes.
And Mr. Wayne's like, I'd like to see you at my house. Come on over. You know.
Oh yes.
You have
the
any
best.
allergies? Yeah, shellfish. Okay, great. I'm going to prepare crab.
Oyster, lobster, all
Yeah.
that. And then my favorite part was he's like having a conversation as he's walking the quarter mile to the other end of the dinner table.
Which did remind me of like the very first Batman, first one. Sorry, I just want to.
That's all right.
Nope. I'm not going to go higher. Never mind. Auction just ended. There was a book I was watching. I wanted to get it for a certain price, and I didn't. But it's a lesser-known book, but it's got Ahsoka. So,
So that reminded you the long table?
of who's the one that played in the blonde female in the first Batman movie? Kim Basinger.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
Kim Basinger.
Okay.
And they're sitting all the way at the far end of the table.
Yeah.
You know, do you eat dinner in here all the time? And he's like, actually, I don't remember ever being in this room. But I think it was the same size table. I think it was the same idea, you know.
Yeah, and the whole time Insomnia is his indentured servant, not butler.
With a different name than Alfred.
Yeah, it was
Winifred.
something similar, but not
I think
Alfred.
it changed names every time he addressed them, though.
Yeah.
But
Not
like
now, not while I'm speaking, you know.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is eating the crab.
And then the butler's like, or the indentured servant's like, you have to excuse him. And didn't he say he was allergic to him or something?
Yes, he did.
This is weird.
So, well, you know that a nightmare for the Joker is going to be over the top weird anyway.
Yeah, and it is. Yeah, that's true.
But then he decides to, I have to catch this person who's going around saying they're Batman.
Yes, and all the while, this new Batman is very Joker-esque in that he's like making jokes the whole time while he's throwing batarangs directly into their eye sockets.
Yep, he has no qualms about killing somebody.
The thugs are like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm doing violence."
But the thugs are addressing him as boss. They're looking at it. They're like, okay, this is Joker in a Batman costume. This is our boss. This is Joker.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Gaggy.
Yeah, he kept saying that, and he kept calling his bald son that.
Yeah.
And his son was like, "What'd you call me?" He's like, "I don't know." It was a Joker dream. It was weird.
Yeah. So it's almost like there's two dreams going on at the same time.
Yeah.
One dream is the Joker becoming Batman, and one dream is the Joker having a normal life, and both of them are nightmares to Joker, and now they're starting to intersect.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. So like you were saying, at one point he's like, "I got to find out who this is, so I'm going to go commit some crime." So he comes and gets me.
Yeah. All I need you to do is just scream. Okay, just scream.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, there he is. You can go now.
Right. I forget what leads up to it, but eventually, like,
Well, his son finds the Batman corpse or whatever in his closet.
that's right. He's like, "I
His
told you never to go
wardrobe.
in there."
And his wife's like, what is in there? Nothing's in there. Okay, just chill. Okay, it's Christmas presents. Okay, yeah, shush.
Yeah.
And to me, that was very Chucky.
Ah,
The seed of Chucky, if you ever saw that one.
okay.
Well, he promises his wife, who's another Chucky doll, voiced by Jennifer Tilly, that I'm not killing anymore, okay? We're going to have a good household for our kid. And meanwhile, they got this big armoire, and he's just storing the bodies in there,
Yeah, well,
And on the opposite side of the armoire, she's also storing bodies,
that's not a very good marriage. But I can see why you compare that, because, yeah, he's got the Batman carcass at this point up in there, and his kid opens it, and like you said, his wife said, "What's in there?" "No, nothing." And then at one point, the new Batman gets swarmed by, what was he getting swarmed by?
It was like henchmen, but their face makeup was glue.
They were like turning into goop, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's like, he like couldn't like get off
I'm
of
getting
them.
stuck on them. You know why Batman was losing? He didn't have prep time.
That's right. He just had to show up right after the real one tripped off the ledge and killed himself.
Yeah.
No prep time. So what do we find out at the end of the mob of glue faces?
Well, he pulls off the mask and is it a Joker?
That's what I was
Which
thinking.
I think
but
we
I was
all
hoping
knew anyway, but...
Yeah, I was hoping you would. Look at that. Crisp, clean paper.
Oh, no, at the very end, it's like he wakes back up in his hideout with his...
Gaggy or whatever.
With all the henchmen that are there.
Yeah.
And a couple of them waking up, a couple of them are groggy, a couple of them are still asleep. And he says, everyone shut up, I'm going back to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I was just starting to get used to that world. I'm going back in there.
Oh, man. That's true. I forgot about that.
That made me laugh out loud when I saw that.
Wow.
I actually wouldn't mind having that as a shirt.
What?
Just the Joker laying down saying, everybody shut up, I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. Maybe we can make it happen.
That's me on Mondays, you know?
All right. So there's the week. How are we doing? How are we rating it?
6.5, maybe 7. Getting a little bit more towards resolution, but on actual resolutions, still my attention span is really being stretched thin amongst all these storylines. Some of it is still very confusing because I don't know. I don't like to be this. I don't mind being confused for a couple episodes. You can't stop saying issues. I can't stop saying episodes.
Yes.
So I don't mind being confused for a couple episodes and then having a resolution. But when I've read, what are we at now? 5 weeks, 25, like 28 books, and I'm still feeling confused. Now I feel like I'm reading Department of Truth.
Which is not a good thing.
I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I liked the Joker. I didn't like it as much as the first issue, but I think it was, one of the top books this week for sure.
I have a quick question for you before you move on.
Okay.
Do you not like the Joker as much as the first issue? I did it again. Because the first one had more shock value, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm reading this? Or is it really you think that the quality of the story is not quite as good?
No, I think the quality of the story is fine. I think it's good. I think it was more of like, yeah, like he was in the break room and he just slams the microwave on the guy's head. Or and I think it was also the shock of just seeing him in a suit at Wayne Industries for the first time,
Yeah. So I think them having HR reel him back a little bit was a mistake for the enjoyability of the book.
Probably, but I get it because it is something that would happen, and it is, if someone likes to joke around and be jokey, having somebody tell you to tone it down.
Yeah.
It's a shitty feeling, which would be apropos for our nightmare.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
Loved the Batman book. I thought it was awesome. I like the art. I like the writing of it. Also a top book this week.
That was some of the best writing that I've read in a while.
Oh, good. All right. Cool.
So,
what else did we have? We had Ravager, Black Adam, and
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy was poignant. Ravager was just a fun romp, and Black Adam, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, if I could pull Black Adam out of the week, and maybe even pull Ravager out of the week, I would give this week a 7.5, bordering on 8.
Yeah.
But I had to really drop down the score because of those two books.
And that's your right as a raider. So
And a reader.
A raider and a reader. But yeah. Let's talk about next week. What do we got? You would think I would be ready with this kind of thing.
I think we're back up to 6 books again. I think that was the reason I was late to recording for 15 minutes was that same sound.
Oh, bats.
My belly had burritos coming out.
Burritos? Burrito. Night Terrors, August. Oi. Tell me what Night Terrors August is. Yo, what the fuck?
See if I can help you out. I think I have it on one of my tabs on my phone.
There should be like a... Oh, I got it. Okay. So it'll be August 8th, because DC does Tuesdays, even though it's actually Wednesdays anyway. Night Terrors number 3, mainline book, Tank Squad. Night Terrors Green Lantern number 2. All right.
Okay.
There is another backup story on that one, though, unfortunately.
Okay.
Night Terrors Robin number 2. That'll be fun to see what he comes up with.
And that's the Damien, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't talk about how he's at the end of Batman. When Batman wakes up, he's like, "Did I wake up?" And Damien's like, "No, that's Gotham.
Yeah,
we lost.
Yeah, we lost." And that tells me it's another nightmare.
Yeah, I guess so. Because there's like, what do you call it? Like alien walkers going in the city and shit. Anyway,
Yeah, almost like the squiddies that are in the Matrix.
yeah. Shazam 2. Shazam. What happened in that one? Oh, it was Mary?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, therapy and stuff. Yeah.
Which we'll all need after reading the series.
Night Terrors, The Flash number 2. The Flash was like a I'm going to go fast and save Wally again and go back in time again.
Yeah.
And Zatanna number 2. That'll be fun to see how her and the robot.
Yeah, exactly. That's that guy.
Cliff is his name. Yeah.
So there is 6 books then.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't pre-order these books. I get there and pull them all off the shelf. So I'm risking it every week that there's not going to be a copy. But I'm like, if I have to go digital, I'll go digital. But
yeah. Yep. We got 3 weeks of books left. So there's 6, 5, 6, and then the last week, August 29th, is just the one capstone book, Knight's Terrors, Knight's End number 1.
Now, I don't remember which book it was, but I did see in one of these storylines, it said to see what happens, read, was it Brave and the Bolds? Or
Ravager.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
So Ravager ends there. They're not having a Ravager part 2, but if you want to know what happens, now you got to go buy another book, which is not a Night Terrors book.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't just culminate in the Night Terrors line of books, but
because if they do all these books that are there's only 2 issues of each, people are okay, I'll buy those 2 issues just so I can read them. And but if you said I'm making all these miniseries and there's 6 of each, people are like, I'm not going to buy all of them. Now you're getting everybody hooked into the storylines. Oh, I got to find out what happened, and they go and they buy the Brave and the Bold. They go buy this. They go buy that.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like a bait and switch, and that ticked me off.
I think they all do it though.
I didn't say they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel, I think, perfectly did that in the 80s.
Well, yeah. So there we go. There's next week.
Yep. But several of those storylines, I'd like to see how they end up. So I'm looking forward to next week.
Me too. Are we done?
We are done, sir. Bring us home.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and or watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe, and leave a review wherever you catch your podcasts.
Yes, please.
Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Team Ohana, for all the latest news and updates on your favorite YouTube channel. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, polls, free stuff, watch-alongs, starting Ahsoka soon. What is that, Wednesday?
Week and a half. No,
Okay.
2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks.
Okay. Ahsoka's probably going to be our next watch-along. So we'll give you a time code, and you start it when you start your copy when we start it, and you can watch it like you're with both of us.
Yes, and we will be doing both episodes, the 2-episode
Premiere.
as one watch-along the first week.
Okay.
It's an hour and 40, about an hour 40.
Okay. Rich is like, I am not watching both immediately.
Exactly. I'm still like 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I'll probably do it for you.
Aw. Stop it. You're so sweet.
So that also every month I have a box of semi-key books here that you get to pick from. Usually it's more than one if I'm feeling generous. On the new Comic Book Day videos, if you win that, you get an extra book to pick. So it's usually 3 books. So that's like $12 or more value usually. What else? Back this podcast you get very early. Don't forget to check out our merch at our Etsy shop down in the description. I'll leave that there.
Instagram, Team Ohana Family.
At Team Ohana Family on Instagram for all your Instagram needs.
All right, I think that's it, sir.
Very cool. Until we see you guys next time, or you hear us next time, mahalo.